Good afternoon, and welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program.
The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network provides the support for DCTV.
The News at Noon program assembles the best and most interesting news from the area, offers intriguing content for its viewers, and provides local weather for the Four Corners region. What do you think? Give us a call with news tips or topics you'd like to see covered. The number is 677-4119.
I'm Kendra Cook, and my co-hosts are Kelsey Kiesling and Jerry Tope. So without further ado, here's the news for you, June 21st, 2016. Reported in the Cortez Journal, the 180-acre wildfire that erupted Saturday afternoon in the Sage Hen area of McPhee Reservoir was expected to be 100% contained before Tuesday, according to a U.S. Forest Service official. Firefighters continued Monday to mop up hot spots and cut down brush. Also on Monday, Montezuma County Commissioners instituted a county-wide fire ban that is effective immediately and until further notice. Open fires and the use of fireworks will not be permitted in unincorporated areas of Montezuma County, including private land within public land areas. Exemptions may be issued on an as-needed basis. The Commissioners voted unanimously for the ban after request from Montezuma County Sheriff Steve Nowlin and regional fire chiefs. The Forest Service announced Monday that it was pre-positioning additional firefighting aircraft, including 3 seats at the Durango Air Tanker Base and a helicopter crew at the Archuleta County Airport. Other additional resources being repositioned at San Juan National Forest districts include 7 fire engines and 3 fire prevention patrols. The announcement came as the Forest Service announced that a fire weather watch was underway for northeast La Plata, San Juan, Hinsdale, and Archuleta counties. Other Western Slope firefighters for the Grand Mesa, Uncompahgre, and Gunnison National Forests continued on Sunday to manage the Pitch and Kelso fires. A large column of smoke could be seen looking south from Grand Junction, Delta, and Montrose. This column was a result of a prescribed burn on the Monte La Salle National Forest in Utah. For more information and to view the full ban ordinance, visit the Montezuma County webpage at montezumacounty.org.
According to the Durango Herald, firefighters on Friday battled hot temperatures and leaping flames to keep a New Mexico wildfire that destroyed 24 homes from spreading north toward the rural mountain communities. 3 days after the fire erupted in the Manzano Mountains south of Albuquerque, crews made progress in holding lines amid lighter winds, said Fire Information Officer Denise Ottaviano. The 26-square-mile fire remained extremely active as it shifted east in near triple-digit temperatures, she said. Weather forecasters predicted rising temperatures into the weekend with humidity levels bottoming out. We're seeing up to 100-foot flame lengths or more throughout the day, Ottaviano said. We are fighting it as many ways as we can and as safely and as quickly as possible. Close to 700 personnel were assigned to the fire along with air tankers and helicopters. To protect more homes, aircraft dropped retardant and water on the fire's east perimeter Friday after fire managers released a damage assessment saying 24 homes and multiple structures had been destroyed near the small community of Chalili. Authorities expanded a mandatory evacuation zone to include more subdivisions to the north and east. They could not say how many homes were affected or how many were directly threatened. The fire remained uncontained and its cause was under investigation.
From the Durango Herald Online, Colorado teen marijuana use has not increased since the state legalized the drug, this according to state health officials' latest release. But anti-marijuana groups remain concerned that the normalization of the drug is misleading kids across the state. The Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment on Monday released its Healthy Kids Colorado Survey, a biannual project which revealed that 4 out of 5 high school students continue to say they don't use marijuana even occasionally. The survey represents a holding trend, as a report from 2014 showed that teen marijuana use had slightly decreased since legalization. The news was hailed as progress to the marijuana legalization world, which predicted in 2012 that the drug would become boring to teens if legalized. These statistics clearly debunk the theory that making marijuana legal for adults will result in more teen use, said Mason Tavert, a spokesman for the Marijuana Policy Project and a co-director of the 2012 legalization effort. Legalization proponents underscored that rates of current and lifetime marijuana use among Colorado teens is lower than the national average. State and local health officials hope that the survey highlights that teens are less likely to engage in risky behaviors if they have a trusted adult in their lives. The La Plata County Celebrating Healthy Communities Coalition is using survey results to encourage parents to do their part to limit teen drug use. The coalition recommends clear family rules, open communication, sharing facts, and talking through scenarios.
According to the Durango Herald, a 43-year-old Georgia man apparently hung himself from a bridge early Monday in the 2200 block of Main Avenue. The man's body was found about 8:30 a.m. at the bridge over Junction Creek, said La Plata County Coroner Jan Smith. He was identified as Christopher Sean Anderson of Athens. His last known contact with others was about 11:30 p.m. Sunday, said Smith. Authorities were not immediately sure why Anderson was in Durango. His family told the coroner he was a former air ambulance pilot. According to the Oconee County, Georgia Sheriff's Office, an immediate family member filed a missing person report in mid-June for Anderson. The Sheriff's Office located him in another state but said he left on his own free will and wasn't breaking the law by being gone. Durango Police Department Lieutenant Ray Shoup said no foul play is suspected. "We believe it is a suicide. It doesn't appear to be anything serious," he said.
Durango Herald finishes the GOP Senate primary candidate profiles with Jack Graham, who is the quieter, more centered candidate in a noisy right-leaning Republican U.S. Senate race. The former Colorado State University athletic director's January 30th announcement generated media attention, but by that time there was a bit of fatigue. He believes in abortion rights, supports gay marriage, he's unsure of Donald Trump, he's concerned with connecting Muslims to recent terror attacks, and he thinks there is value in holding hearings to confirm Supreme Court nominee Merrick Garland. In fact, Graham was a Democrat until a year and a half ago. He said, "All of a sudden it became relevant. I started to pay attention to what was going on in the world, so it was obvious to me that I needed to make a change regarding his affiliation switch. I can have a real impact on what's going on in Washington, D.C., both from a leadership perspective as well as from influencing some of the critical public policy issues that are shaping us." His more moderate stance has won him the support of Durango State Senator Ellen Roberts, a Republican, who believes Graham is the best candidate to take on Bennett. Behind the scenes, Democratic leaders and Bennett's campaign have been worried about a Graham victory, though he would need to survive a difficult primary that has pandered to voters who lean more to the right. While the run represents Graham's first foray into politics, it's not his first brush with bureaucracy. As the CSU athletic director, Graham was charged with turning around programs that had been plagued by student behavioral issues. Graham believes his background is appropriate for Congress. He knows what it takes to train and face opponents, as he was drafted in 1975 by the NFL's Miami Dolphins, though he never made the roster and bounced around the league. From there, Graham started his lucrative business career in the reinsurance industry. After injecting his campaign with $1 million of his own money, which has been supplemented recently with another $500,000 self-investment and at least $335,000 plus in contributions, Graham hired Dick Wadhams to manage his campaign. Wadhams is the former chairman of the Colorado Republican Party with deep roots and lots of respect. He helped guide U.S. Senator John Thune to an upset victory over then Senate Minority Leader Tom Daschle in South Dakota in 2004. Wadhams also helped Wayne Allard from Colorado into the U.S. Senate in 1996. Wadhams was instrumental in Graham's being the first to petition onto the June 28th ballot, despite his late arrival into the race. By being first, Graham gave himself a significant advantage. A voter can offer a signature for only one candidate, which means that signatures used by Graham couldn't be used by 3 other candidates petitioning onto the ballot. Those 3 candidates faced major hurdles when the Secretary of State's office deemed their signatures insufficient. All 3 candidates had to take their cases to court. They prevailed, but not before spending valuable resources. Wadhams said the petition process is emblematic of why Graham is the right fit, stating it's an indicator of why Jack would be the strongest candidate in the general election.
According to the Durango Herald, after a 5-year respite, cattle grazing will resume this month on about 43,000 acres in the Upper Hermosa and Elbert Creek areas of the San Juan National Forest. Up to 200 cattle are allowed to graze from mid-June through mid-October each year based on a 2009 decision for the Hermosa Grazing Environmental Impact Statement. The EIS permits grazing in the Forest Service's Upper Hermosa, Elbert Creek, and Dutch Creek allotments. Traffic delays are expected Saturday on Hermosa Park Road, Forest Service Road 578, where cattle will be unloaded and trailed into the federal land behind Purgatory Resort. On June 26th, more cattle will be unloaded behind the Needles Country Store on U.S. Highway 550 and moved along the Elbert Creek Trail into the second allotment. The grazing areas include a 160-acre parcel adjacent to the Upper Hermosa trailhead that the Forest Service obtained through a land swap with Glacier Club in 2010. Matt Janowiak, District Ranger, said the 5-year break from grazing on the allotments is owed to a number of factors, including the permitting process and the 2012 drought. We didn't feel like we needed to push cattle on the allotments any sooner, he said. The new permit holders, Clint and Miranda Wagner of Wagner Cattle Company in Bayfield, were billed $1,580 for just under 200 cattle at a rate of $2.11 per animal unit month, which equates to forage for one cow and her calf for a month. In 2015, San Juan National Forest collected $124,000 in grazing fees, which counted for about 16% of fees collected that year. The most current Forest Service records show about 43,000 cattle are permitted or authorized to graze about 1.1 million acres of San Juan National Forest lands. Forest Service officials said cutthroat trout recovery, fishing, and water quality were considered in the decision to reintroduce cattle on the two parcels, and measures are in place to protect nearby watersheds, such as Elbert Creek. Cattle will not be allowed to graze in the meadow behind Purgatory Lifts 3, 5, and 8, nor in the pasture along Elbert Creek where revegetation work was recently completed. And now here's our weather report.
Record high temperatures will and still are possible again today. Scattered afternoon mountain thunderstorms will again creep in under the high ridge that still rules the roost in our forecast region today. Over the San Juans to our east this evening, there's a 10% chance of rain, though very little in quantity is expected. Yet deadly lightning and strong gusty winds will be there with some slight afternoon cooling. Moffat County in the northwest corner of Colorado will have higher winds this afternoon with gusts above 25 miles an hour, and a red flag warning is anticipated for that area as well as northeast Utah. You may have noticed late yesterday, if you look toward the blues, that smoke pollution was getting pretty heavy. This was due to Southern California, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico having a total of nearly 20 wildfires in progress, and today we'll likely see an increasingly smoky haze as the day wears on. For one, I'm wishing I had a high-powered air purifier in the house. Our current high pressure is now extended from Southern California to the Mississippi Valley. Tomorrow, a short wave trough will pass through this high in our area, and by evening give a 15% chance of thunderstorms over the San Juan Mountains tomorrow afternoon. A quasi-stationary front will extend from northeast to northern mid-Atlantic to the Ohio Valley and westward to the Central Plains through Thursday. Showers and thunderstorms along a frontal boundary from the middle Mississippi Valley to the mid-Atlantic and the northeast will be moving off the northeast coast by late today and into early tomorrow. Parts of the upper Great Lakes will see rain this evening, and the rain will spread into northern New England by tomorrow evening. Rain and severe thunderstorm activity over the northern high plains will move eastward to the middle Mississippi Valley and extend into parts of the Ohio Valley and central Appalachians by tomorrow evening. Flash flooding is again possible in a lot of these areas. Western Gulf of Mexico flow will again produce showers and thunderstorms for the western and central Gulf Coast today and into tomorrow evening. An easterly flow off the Atlantic will drag Gulf moisture over southern Florida through tomorrow evening. Our high temps and our lows are still at levels forecast yesterday, with highs from the mid-90s and down to the low 90s for the weekend. Lows from the mid-50s down to maybe upper 40s by Saturday night, and a slight uptick to 50 for Sunday night. I'm thankful for these cooler nights these days, though. If only we could see a regular moderate moisture clean up the air and put out these fires, what would we do? Who knows? Now back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, the opening of the lower Dolores River for the first time in 5 years was a joyous occasion for boaters who could swing the impromptu release. However, it was also a sober realization that chokehold restrictions are slowly transitioning the river into its altered state, Dolores Creek. Overgrown banks, loads of sediment in the waterway, and a depleted fishery cast a pale backdrop to an otherwise awe-inspiring float down the lower Dolores River, known for its deep canyons, lush ponderosa forests, and seemingly endless succession of whitewater. And all of that is just a reflection of the channel starting to reflect the current hydrology, said Colorado Parks and Wildlife aquatic biologist Jim White. It has changed. Since the dam operates on a fill then spill policy, enough water to float the lower Dolores River is only released when the dam is at capacity, and there's no other place to store inflows. That hadn't happened since 2011 until this year, when 2 small releases allowed boaters as well as wildlife officials to get an inside peek at what's been happening to the long-neglected stretch of river. And it didn't look good. The Wildlife Division said a survey of the 19-mile stretch from Bradfield Bridge to the Dove Creek pump station found only 150 brown trout, a non-native species, and came up nearly empty-handed on native species. The loss of consistent spring flow to maintain habitat, coupled with altered base flow regimes just all adds up to where we're seeing reduced numbers of native species, Jim White said. But what struck me, just the abundance of fish in general, native and non-native, is low through that part of the canyon. Another discernible transformation noted by many boaters was the unbridled vegetation that has started to bottleneck the river's original channel. It was one of the most striking changes Sam Carter, board president of the Dolores River Boating Advocates, noticed on his trip this year. Though the Dolores flowed anywhere from 800 to 1,500 cubic feet per second during the release, river levels throughout the year remain chronically low. In 2013, for instance, the river was at a trickle at just 13 cubic feet per second. The Boating Advocates President Carter said that doesn't exactly constitute a healthy, flourishing river.
The Durango Herald reports that Colorado prides itself on being a great destination for visitors year-round. A Wallet Hub review of the best states for summer road trips confirms that, putting the Rocky Mountain High State at number 8. The study evaluated the 50 states based on driving and lodging costs, road conditions and safety, and fun and scenic attractions. The state's crumbling infrastructure had us 20th on the second metric, but Colorado shone in others, including scenic byways and weather. Oregon is apparently the best state for road trips, followed by Nevada, Utah, North Carolina, Minnesota, Washington, and Idaho. Rounding out the top 10 are Louisiana and Vermont. Ranking 50th on that list is Connecticut. 11 of Colorado's 26 byways are designated by the U.S. Secretary of Transportation as America's Byways, registered trademark, which gives Colorado more national designations than any other state. Colorado's scenic and historic byways have been around for more than 25 years. In our neck of the woods, or shoulder of the canyons, we have the Alpine Loop, which is 63 miles and a driving time of 4 to 6 hours, connecting Silverton Lake City and Ouray and back. The closer San Juan Skyway takes you for a loop of 236 miles over 6 hours, connecting Cortez to Durango, topping at Ridgeway through Rico to Dolores and back. And the Trail of the Ancients, which is designated as 116 miles for 3 hours, from Hovenweep to up to 184 to 145 past McPhee, with a side spur to Mesa Verde on 160 East and South 160 down to the Four Corners, connecting with Utah's scenic byways over the border. For more information on road closures or road conditions before you head out, check online at cdot.gov.
According to the Cortez Journal, dozens of emergency service personnel from about 25 agencies converged at Dolores High School on Friday and Saturday for a mass casualty training course. The two-day training session featured instructional videos and talks as well as hands-on training exercises, said Montezuma County Emergency Manager Paul Holler. The event focused on how the various agencies would respond and work together if there was an active shooter in a school or other public place. Members of local fire, police, and emergency service agencies were present, as well as officials from Southwest Health System, the National Park Service, and Montezuma County School Districts, Holler said. Emergency response workers were learning new tactics for responding to a scene and eliminating the threat, while also rescuing people in danger and getting them to proper treatment. The agencies learned what each other's roles would be in an active shooter scenario so that all involved can carry out their responsibilities and coordinate the proper response, treatment, and care, said Southwest Health Marketing Director Haley Leonard. It's the second time Montezuma County has hosted such an event. This weekend's training session was sponsored by Southwest Regional Emergency and Trauma Advisory Council, an agency that aims to maintain, improve, and expand emergency medical and trauma services in Southwest Colorado. Holler said the weekend's training events were a starting point. The agencies will continue working together to build other pieces into the response plan. He was impressed with the big and positive response from the emergency workers at the event.
Here's the buzz from 9 News Denver, Colleen Fiera, KUSA. To be or not to be? Beekeeping is becoming a popular trend in Colorado. Several cities in the state are now allowing residents to keep hives on their property. Why are more people trying this trend? Well, Mario Padilla, an entomologist with the Butterfly Pavilion in Westminster, said it's becoming popular for the hobbyists keeping 2 to 3 colonies. It seems like people want to get back in touch with nature. They keep chickens and fresh eggs, and now they're doing bees. Padilla gives beekeeping boot camp classes at the Butterfly Pavilion every weekend. He recommends that everyone takes a class to get on board with the basics. Having hives in your backyard seems like a good idea for fresh, local honey, but there are a few things that could go wrong. Padilla said one danger is not managing them properly in their proper enclosure. It kind of makes them fussy. If you put bees in a colony too early, they might not have enough food for them to fly out and get. You want to feed your bees in order for them to be successful throughout the entire year. Along with feeding your bees, they need a steady source of water to survive. If you properly manage your bee colonies, you shouldn't have any issue with maintaining a successful hive that doesn't bother your neighbors. Bees forage 2 to 4 miles so they won't be in your neighbor's yards. If you're worried about a bee allergy, Padilla says a very small percentage of people have a bee allergy and will go into shock, and bees really aren't out there to sting you. He continues, if they're flying around flowers, you have no reason to be scared. The only time they would sting is to defend their nest. Wasps are more likely to sting than bees. Wasps are carnivores, while bees are herbivores. Bees are such an important part of our food source, not only in Colorado, but around the country. They are nature's greatest pollinators. It's actually National Pollinator Week, and we are in somewhat of a bee crisis. Whether you like them or not, bees are a vital part of our agriculture. They are nature's best pollinators and are so important for our crops. And natural local honey is believed by many to provide some wonderful health and nutritional benefits. Locally, I've found Bruce's Honey House Harris bees in Cortez, Colorado. I know personally there are bee boxes stashed around various fields in Dolores County. And I couldn't find any regulations down here in the Four Corners area regarding beekeeping for personal use. There is a lot of information online at coloradobeekeepers.org, and there's even a Western Colorado Beekeepers Association with plenty of contacts to find out if it be in your future to host bees at your place.
And now the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of June 13th through the 20th. A resident reported a telephone scam from a spoofed number that appeared local. The resident recognized it as a scam call and wanted to call to warn others of this. Brandon J. Smith was arrested and transported to Montezuma County Detention Center on a warrant out of Dolores County for failure to appear. A Cajon resident reported smoke near the highway. It was found to be smoldering from a controlled burn earlier in the day. A man lost a 10-foot cataract oars near the pumps after a day on the river with his son. If you found these oars, please contact the sheriff's office so they can be returned. An incident of harassment in town was investigated by the sheriff's office. The Dove Creek Volunteer Fire Department was dispatched to a tree fire. While on patrol, a deputy noticed and subsequently cleared debris on the highway in town. A deputy reported an unattended vehicle parked off the road in Sharps Creek. That's it for today's roundup. Stay tuned this week for more updates.
And in today's High Country happenings, at the Conquistador Golf Course, the Four Corners Firecracker Classic will be held on July 2nd and 3rd in Cortez. $4,000 added to the purse. It's a one-day scramble and a one-day best ball, flighted gross and net payouts. It is $380 per team, and Saturday night there's a special event following with steak dinner for an extra $15. To enter, call the Pro Shop at 970-565-9208 or go online to fourcornersgolf.com. The Dove Creek Recreation Department has opened up registration for swimming lessons just yesterday. They will take place Monday through Thursdays, July 18th through July 28th, for a total of 8 lessons. Cost is $55 per participant, and the child must be 5 years old by the end of summer or starting kindergarten in the fall. Kids will catch the bus at 8:15 at the community center and be returned at 12:30 p.m. For more details, visit dovecreekrec.com. And the Red Hat Ladies of Dolores will be meeting Friday, June 24th at 5 p.m. at the Sophia Retreat and Event Center in Dolores. For more details, call Marilyn at 970-882-7625 or Ruby at 882-7717. If you are over 50, you wear a red hat, and under 50, wear a pink hat. If you are not familiar with the Red Hat Society, you can go online to www.redhatsociety.com. And stay tuned right after the news, because we're going to have Talk Tuesday with fire happenings. All of these happenings segments are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page. If you have an event, you can email us at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 677-4119, and we'll be sure to get it on air.
Thanks for tuning in. This program is aired live at noon Monday through Wednesday and rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m. on Channel 32.1 Dolores County, on Channel 30.4 in Montezuma County, and their cable Channel 5.
Tell a friend and watch the rebroadcast played on YouTube. Search DCTV News at Noon. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and all those who are working to bring you DCTV and the News at Noon program from Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. See you next time.